so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Hello and welcome to Andy Shed Live. This is Series 14, episode number 3 for Sunday the 19th of November 2023. Hello there everybody, how are you? Welcome to the show. It is Sunday night once again. Thor is barking his head off next door. I'll have to go and see what he wants in a minute. But yeah, welcome to yet another live stream. We are here for the third time, live on Odyssey. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will not be able to take part in the chat on YouTube. You need to go to our website, antyshed.colepress.net, and then click on the live thing that you'll see on the menu there, or even just go straight to antyshed.colepress.net/live, and then you will find a thing where you can watch us on Odyssey there, or you can click a link there to get the pop-out chat, and you will be able to chat in there via Odyssey, at least for now, until they sell it, because it is for sale, Odyssey, apparently, but that's another story for another day. Right. We've got various people in the chat already tonight. Who have we got? Let's have a little look. We have got Miguet's here, Wesley's here, Keith is here, Christopher's here, Dominic's here, masquerading as GWR King Class. So yeah, the usual suspects basically. Keith said, I'm in touch with Fat Hobbit outside this channel. He lives near me, and he says he's having trouble connecting to the live chat on Odyssey. He asked me to pass on his apologies to Andy. Apology definitely accepted. I don't know why he's having trouble connecting to the chat, but basically if he goes on to the website that I've just given you, andyshed.coldpress.net/live, and goes in there, then there is a little link thing for the chat, whatever device is on. Even if you can't watch the video on the device is on, there's a little link that says click here for the chat, and it should open it. I believe you have to sign up with Odyssey first to do it, as you do with all these things, but it should work okay. We are looking at other options for the chat, perhaps, particularly if Odyssey ends up being sold or shut down or something. So we are looking at other easier options for the chat, shall we say. We are working on that one. But other than that, how is the stream looking? Is it still looking better? A couple of weeks ago, people said it seemed better on Odyssey than it did on YouTube. It said it was better quality. I have tweaked some of the settings as well today. So some of I've just tweaked a setting. Well, one setting actually. So it may be different today. It may look or sound a bit different. Let me know if it's better, worse, whatever, and yeah, let us know. Right, so we will crack straight on into it, shall we? Now everybody said good evening. Dominic says music with vocals ? Yes, Dominic. There is music, some music with vocals. There's some new music on the clock these days that precedes the stream. Thought it was time we had a bit of a change. So the old music was driving me nuts. So I'm sure it was driving you nuts. So we've added some to it and stuff. So I've got a box this week. Here's a box. It says fragile on it, but it was delivered by Everett, so I'm sure they took absolutely no notice of that whatsoever. Shall we see what is in the box? If I can get a camera to look at it. Will that camera look at the box? That camera will look at the box. Yes. Well, that camera's a bit light actually, but anyway. There we go. There's the camera looking at the box. So, which way up here? Open the box is the first question. I think it opens there. Right, I'll do my normal trick and do the screwdriver. Oh, that opened easy. Anybody think that was prepared? But I swear it wasn't. There we go. Right. What have we got in the box tonight then? Well, we've got some of those balloony things. If you've seen the title of the stream, you'll have some idea of what this is already. It's brown. It's brown. Or perhaps it's grey and just looks grey. But no, it is actually brown. This is where it falls apart on me, isn't it? There we go. It is a Yeoman. Now these are the 746s that were rebuilt and recased and sold through the GPO shops or through the BT shops, and that is borne out by the sticker underneath it that says 8746F, back sampled and refurbished in 1982, but the original phone was from 1972, and what made me interested was because originally it was not a 746. it was a 740 originally. Can you see that? 740. Somebody's helpfully peeled the sticker off for me already. 740 Gen 72.1. And they say it was refurbished in 1982 from being a 740. So this cord, this grey cord, was probably put on then when it was turned into a 8746 rather. Let me move a few things up there, and then we'll move that camera down a bit so you can see it. So here it is. Does the dial work? Yeah. 1001. It does. That's good. And a very... turn that round. Otherwise John Markham will shout at me. But a very neatly coiled up line cord there as well. Look, somebody's done that really neat. I don't know quite how they've done that, but it may take a while to uncoil it. There we go. Doopy-doopy-doo. Oh, what's happening there? Oh, that's it. There we go. It's pretty much uncoiled now. There we go. You see? It's already got the relevant plug on the end. It's even got the little spring tab on the side still that always gets broken off. I will now plug that in over here to a line, and let's see if it works. Oh, it does. It does actually work, that. Right. Let's see now then. If we dial that should dial the phone on the desk, but it didn't, did it? So let's try again. 2 2. Oh, it did this time. Try it again. Working. Cool. Shall we have another go? Shall we do it the other way around? Then, so if I pick up my normal desk phone and dial 20, does it make that? So it does. Right, this is where now it gets very confusing because you have to listen to one. And yeah, that is working both ways. So that's cool. It just works. Like, out of the box it works. I am gobsmacked. And this has got the rarest of rare things, which is a brown curly cord. That is the rarest of rare things because they were made just for when these had been refurbished. And try getting one. Just try. So, yeah. So, shall we have a little look inside it? Because this was a 740 originally. And I'm wondering if there's any sign of the 4 switches that would have been across the top of here when it was a 740. That's what I'm wondering to myself. Does that drop right out? Well, no, it's actually retained like that. take that off there. We'll also uncouple it from the line. Oh, that's lifted straight off, and interesting, because right, now that is interesting, because that has still got 500 ohm bell coils, and it should have 2000 ohm bell coils. As an 8746, which it definitely is, it should have 2000 ohm bell coils in it, and it hasn't. It's got 500s. So in that case, it should have got a resistor here, but it hasn't. So I would venture to suggest that has not been correctly converted, and possibly not correctly converted by Telecom, GPO, BT, whatever you wanted to call them at the time. Because there it is, you've just seen me take it out of the box. Now, of course, somebody else might have been in here over the years and messed about with things and that. And it looks like that's possible, because there is a screw missing just here on one of these terminals. So that is quite possible that somebody else has been in here. But it is totally missing the resistor. It should be between 4 and 5 there. Totally missing that resistor. But the rest of the conversion seems to have been done. 16, 17, 18 and 19 are joined together. Where's the white of the line going? The white of the line is... Oh, it's going over there where it should. It's going over there to T18. The white, the red is on T8 where it should be. The blue is up there on T6 where you would expect to find it. So it's been converted. It's just not had the resistor put in, so it should have got 2000 ohm bells, but it hasn't. So has somebody changed the bell coils over? Let's have a look underneath. Well, it doesn't show any signs of being tampered with, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been. Interesting. So that is not the correct conversion, because that will have a REN number, a ringer equivalence number, higher than 1. It will have a REN of 4, that, because it has not had a resistor or the 4000 ohm bell system put in. So basically you should have got a 3.3 kilo ohm resistor, which is 3.3 thousand ohms, because it should all add up to the ohms of the bell coil, of the bell circuit, should add up to about 4000 to give it a REN of 1. So generally, no resistor, you should have two 2000 ohm bell coils in series and make it 4000 ohms. If you've got two 500 ohm coils in, you add a 3.3 kilo ohm resistor, so that's 3300 ohms, added to the 500 ohms and 500 ohms of that coil, so that makes it 4300 ohms, which is near enough to 4000. But this has only got 1000 ohms, so this will have a higher Ren value to it. That's as I understand it. I hope I'm right in that. What are people saying about it all? Bertie Wooster here is here. He's joined us. He says, "I'll make my presence known. Good evening, chaps. Evening, Bertie." Keith says he thinks that the stream is better quality now. So I'm just catching up on what people have been saying. Dominic says the 740 are the ones with provision for extra buttons. Yes, Dominic, you should have 4 buttons across the top of the case, the 740. Wesley says, is there a chunk missing from the case? There is, Wesley. I didn't know about that when I bought it. But yeah, there is indeed a chunk missing out of that back corner there. But I didn't know about that. I knew that was a thing. I have actually got some brown cases that I can swap it with, or I can do my plastic putty thing and make a bit to go in there, because I have got a smashed brown case, bits of a smashed brown case that I can melt down to do that if necessary. Where's the dial label from, says Wesley? It is from Northampton, Wesley. Chris says, Andy, do you still want the 400 series case I've got here for the telephone that you've got the stuck dial in? I don't think I need it, Christopher. I haven't been meaning to email you about that. I don't think I need it, because I think we're going to be able to get that dial out, and it's nice to keep it original. So hang on to it, Christopher. Hang on to it. I think we'll be okay at this end, and we'll be able to keep the phone original. I've been told a method that should get it out, but I must admit I've not tried it yet because I've just not had time. Dominic says, working out of the box, is this a first for Andy's shed? It may well be, Dominic. It doesn't often happen that way. Wesley says, that must have been a Friday afternoon refurbishment at Cumcarn. Yeah, it must have been, Wesley. Assuming it's all original and nobody's actually changed anything since. And I'm not going to say it is all original, because there's a screw missing on the circuit board, and that kind of points to there being somebody who's been inside it. Wesley says, I've never seen an 8746 without high impedance coils, and I've had plenty through my hands over the years. No, I've not seen any till now. It's come as a surprise to me as well, Wesley, that has. It's a good job I actually undid the box on here, really, isn't it? Because you'd think that I'd faked it or something otherwise. But yeah, it's come as a real shock to me. But I wanted to show you one sort of as I got it, and that is it as I got it. Bertie says very early 8746s did not have high impedance bell coils as standard until mid to late 1982. Right. So, how did you plug them in then? If you plugged in more than one, what happened? Did the bells not ring? Bertie says, nor did they have an electronic transmitter or pepper pot speaker cap as standard early one. Well, this one has got a pepper pot speaker cap. There, you see. And what transmitter has it got? Oh, it's got an electronic one. So perhaps that's a later handset. So if it's a later handset, do you think it's a refurbished phone then? No, a refurbished phone? I've got no idea. No idea at all. Your guess is as good as mine at the moment. And Dominic says, yesterday I went on the Mansfield line and I had a look around Cresswell. I originally planned to go to Clown, but the buses weren't very frequent. You can walk down an old disused railway track from Cresswell to Clown. It's not mega far. It's only a couple of miles perhaps. Yeah, you can walk down it. We may even do an escape the shed. If I'd known you were going, Dominic, I'd have come and done an escape the shed on that section, because that's a section I've not walked down, because it's not a million miles away from me, that. Right, I'm just going to see if Thought wants to go outside for a second. I'll just leave you for a second, just looking at this and marvelling at the fact that, well, it's not quite as it ought to be. Back in a sec. I'm back, I think. Am I back? Well, yeah, that's about right, isn't it? Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, so, what do you make of that then? Yeah, it's a strange phone. It's got an oddball... It's got an oddball one of these in it as well. Whatever you call it, it's actually two back-to-back diodes, the thing that limits the side tone. It's actually two back-to-back diodes. That's what it is, but they put it in a little plastic box to make it look like something more special than it is. But they're normally red, and that's a yellow one. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but yeah, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre, that. You know, I'm not entirely sure somebody's not been in there monkeying around. Yeah, not entirely sure at all. Somebody's not messed with that. But it is quite a nice thing. It's relatively clean, which they're not always. And the case came off quite easily, but it doesn't go back on as easily though. I would say there is a little chunk out of there which I could rebuild, or I could just fit a new old stock case that I've got to it, because I think I've got about 5 or 6 brown ones. Oh, it's got a little nibble out the front corner as well, so I might fit a different one. But for now, we will put it back together. If we can. Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, that was surprisingly easy as well, wasn't it? It's not normally that easy. Something will bite me in a bit to make up for that being that easy. There we go. And the spring is there on it and everything. Kind of think I ought to try it again now. Now I've had the case off, it might not work. Where's the end of the... Where's the end of it? There we go. Plug that in down there. Give it another go. Yeah, it still works. It still works. So there you have it. A Yeoman. Quite a rare thing, really. So not bad at all. Why is that dog still barking? Let me find out what's up with him. I'll be back in a sec. What are you barking at? What are you barking at? Hey? What are you barking for? Do you want to go outside again? Go on then. Make your mind up. You want to go out there? Stop there. He's gone outside again for a minute. I'm sure he'll be back. Probably in about 15 seconds, knowing Thor. What are people saying in the chat about this strange phone then? Chris says, Andy, did you get a photo of a UK railway telephone? I have, Christopher, but I've not looked at it yet. It's only come through this afternoon. Dominic says, I've heard the tunnel mouth, the GCR station, has recently been restored with a bit of track. This is the tunnel mouth at Clown. that he's on about here. It has, apparently. I've not been had a look since they've done it, but there wasn't a lot to restore really, because it was still there. Yeah, it's a bit weird how Clown is now compared to how it used to be, because it used to have two railways basically almost side by side. It was a bit strange, Clown, and it's kind of been obliterated, and the ground levels have changed a lot in Clown, and what was on a bridge is now at ground level, because the ground has gone up that much. And yeah, it's odd. It's a very strange Clown. Bertie says regarding the 8746, he says usually the earlier ones had blue and yellow stickers underneath. That one doesn't, by the looks of things, but the fact that they've taken the original sticker from 82 off does suggest it has been used as a downer for another telephone, or donor even for another telephone. Yeah, I don't know, but there's something doesn't look quite right, isn't there, about it, somewhere along the line. So we'll yeah, but it's near. I think what we'll probably do, to make it work properly and reliably, I think we will just slip a 3.3k resistor into it, and then the conversion will be proper, really. So I think that's what we'll end up doing with it. Dominic says Wikipedia says the Midland Station building was only demolished in 2000, which is a bit of a shame. I can't remember, Dominic. I can't remember how it was that in 2000. Honestly can't remember. That'll be about the time they built the massive Tesco's that's there now, that kind of obliterated a lot of things in Clown. So yeah, I can't entirely remember how that was. Yeah, I don't know. But you're right, it is a bit of a shame, and one of those railway tracks that goes through Clown was supposed to be being retained for possible reinstatement, and they never have done. In fact, at the time it was listed as to be retained and not built on, and the council were told not to give planning permission for anybody to build anything on it. At that time they came and took up all the track, because a few years previously it had still been used for goods trains, and so as soon as there was talk of reopening it as a passenger railway, they came and took all the track up. So yeah, somebody was as bent as a 9-bob note there. Right, back in a sec. Is he in? He's in. Right. Stop in now. Stop in now. You've been out. You've been out. Stay in now.
Come on.
Stay in. Stay in. No, you're not coming in here. Go on.
Go on.
Go on. Go on. I'm back. Right. Right. Okay. So that is that. All sorted out. Hopefully. So yeah. Hopefully it's done. That all good to go. Right. So yeah, what we were saying, Clown. Yes, Clown's in the place, not Clown's in the idiot. Clown. Yes. It's very difficult to visualise what it was like compared to what it's like now. Very difficult there. But I I do remember seeing a train coming through Cloud Station not so many years ago. So yeah. Right. Anyway, so that phone's done, isn't it? Basically, there's not a lot to do to that one. It's kind of okay. Yeah, it could ideally do with a new case, but apart from the fact it could do with something doing about the broken bits on the case, apart from that, it works perfectly, which is very unusual. Very unusual indeed. In other news, as I am coiling up this handset cord again, I think I'm about to have a problem with eBay again, because I have bought some phones off an eBay seller. The auction finished, I think, Friday. I paid for them on Saturday. Paid for them on Friday night actually. Tried to make contact with the seller, and the seller seems to be ignoring my attempts for contact, and the reason is there's about 10 phones and I paid £15 for them. And this is a thing that's happening these days. People are selling stuff on eBay, and if it doesn't fetch the price that the seller has got in their head, they just don't dispatch the item. Now I think, don't tell you where it is in this case because it was collection only. So I think eBay should start a new rule whereby when somebody lists an item for sale on eBay, they should have to list their name and address when they list the item, because you should be able to go around there and serve papers on them for breach of contract if they decide not to sell the item after all. Because I do regularly threaten people with that. Yeah, so if by next week I've not had contact from this person, I will be putting their eBay username and all the details I can about them up on this stream to stop anybody else making any purchases from them. So be ready next week, and we will add to the eBay Hall of Shame, because I am not scared to name and shame people on any platform who don't play by the rules. And the rules are, you put it on. If you put it on at a low price and it sells for a low price, you have to sell it. If it doesn't make what you expected, tough. You've listed it, it's sold. But the sellers get away with it. The sellers get away with it. eBay is all about sellers. The buyer has no rights at all on eBay. It's absolutely a disgusting platform. It really is a disgusting platform, and it's getting worse. All these big tech platforms that are all getting worse. I mean, the number of adverts now on YouTube. I tried to watch a 9-hour live stream yesterday. I didn't watch it live, I watched it after the event. It was the launch of Elon Musk's Starship from Boca Chica in Texas. It was streamed by a guy called Everyday Astronaut, who is very, very good. I recommend him, although I don't recommend watching him on YouTube. I'm hoping he's on other platforms as well. But I had to watch this on YouTube because it had been a YouTube live stream. I watched it after the event. The number of adverts they had inserted, and I know he hadn't inserted them because as a live stream he wouldn't have, because I've watched his live streams before. But the number of adverts after the event that YouTube had put into this live stream was phenomenal. It was like advert at least every 5 minutes 2 adverts. It was just absolutely bonkers, and I just gave up on it in the end. I just scrolled through it to the actual launch bit, watched about 2 minutes of that, and then left. It was just not watchable at all. So yeah, that's how they are, I'm afraid, these days. So that is why we are now on Odyssey. If you are watching this on YouTube, I strongly advise you not to. I strongly advise you to switch over and watch it on Odyssey. We are hoping to be on other platforms as well in the next few weeks. We are going to go to other platforms, one of which will be D-Stream, I think, which is one you've probably not heard of. But it's a similar system to Odyssey in the way that it works. You can also watch us on Library if you've got the Library app on your phone, the LBRY app on your phone, or the Library client software on your desktop computer or on your laptop. Then you can watch us directly on Library. Just search for Andy Shed Live. You'll find us on there as well, because we get uploaded to that, because it is Odyssey is kind of a part of Library, so don't ask me to explain it. I have explained it in videos before. If you want to know all about how Library works, look back on my channel. There's a video called something like How to Use Library that I did a few years ago, and that does explain how it all works. But yeah, so yeah, I strongly advise you not to watch on Library. Miguel says, I'm getting some buffering tonight. Is it affecting others? Wesley says, no buffering thus far via YouTube. It may not be downscale. Is anybody else watching via Odyssey and getting buffering? Wesley said, I'd rather not have my details passed to all and sundry. I'm happy to stand by that, as I've never reneged on a sale. Yeah, but plenty of people have though, Wesley. So I think if you sell something and you're a distance from it, people should know where you are and know who you are. You know, as distance selling, you shouldn't be able to hide. If you're going to sell something, you should not be able to hide from the buyer. You know, if you're going to sell it, you're going to sell it. You should, you know, part of the fact of selling it, you should not be able to hide from the buyer. And I would have no problem at all with my name and address and telephone number being on the listing on YouTube. If you sell something through a classified ad in a newspaper, you've got to put your telephone number or your address or something in it, haven't you? For people to contact you. So why shouldn't you on eBay? Right, has anybody else got this buffering thing then? I have a feeling I know why it might be buffering. It's because we've altered the keyframe rate. But I don't think it's changed much at this end. We are sending a kind of a higher bitrate stream, I believe, than we normally do. I'm not totally sure about that, but I believe we are. So you should be getting a better picture tonight. It shouldn't be, you know, when I wave like that, my hand shouldn't be quite as blurry as it normally is, because the keyframe should be better. One of the problems that we have had on certain browsers with Odyssey since we started a couple of weeks ago is things being a little bit out of sync. So when I speak, the sound doesn't necessarily match my lips. If you've been having that problem, either watching live or watching after the event on Odyssey, if you've been having that problem, chances are you're using the Firefox browser, and it's something to do with that browser we've ascertained. try a different browser and the problem is likely to go away if you try watching using a different browser. It certainly goes away if you try watching via the library client. Yeah, no buffering thus far, says Wesley. That's good, isn't it? Right, as the chat stopped, it seems to have stopped. I'm not sure if it's just that nobody's saying anything or if it's frozen. I never can quite tell. It doesn't move fast enough for me to know, really, on here. Let me just have a little look. Bertie says, I'm watching Odyssey. No buffering here, thankfully. Yeah, I'm thinking, who said it was buffering? Was it Miguel? Yeah, Miguel. I'm thinking it might be your internet connection, that Miguel, that might just be running slow at this particular time of the day. Some internet service providers, in fact most internet service providers, throttle your bandwidth at busy times. Even the ones that say they don't, I think they do. So it may be that's happening to you, because YouTube often transcodes down to a lower resolution image if it senses that the person it's streaming the thing out to is having problems. I don't think Odyssey does. I think Odyssey, it always streams out at whatever it is. I think, I'm not 100% certain on that. So we're sending 720p stream at 30 frames per second to you. You should be getting a 720p stream at 30 frames per second. And if your system can't handle that because either your computer's not up to it, or more likely the fact these days would be that your internet service provider is throttling the stream so you can't physically get the 720p down the wires, then it may buffer. So I have a feeling that if you come back like tomorrow at a less busy time for the internet, so if you think about it, sort of early evening, everybody's on their computer, everybody's sending emails, watching YouTube videos and stuff. That's why we do it at this time, because everybody's around. But I think if you came back at about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, when a lot of people aren't up and stuff, I think you'd be able to watch this back after the event in the same quality and experience no buffering. I believe, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that might be it. Like I say, I don't know for certain. Christian says, after the stream, I will be filming a train doing its last run. It's an old N-class with H sets. N-class with H sets. Not entirely sure what that is. I'm not very good with my Australian. I'm not very good at trains full stop. I'm particularly not good at Australian trains. Unless they're red rattlers. We know what a red rattler is now. You've educated us, Christopher, as to what a red rattler is. So, yeah. Of course, it is crazy o'clock in the morning there when you are Christopher, isn't it? What is it? 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Yeah, right. Okie dokie. So there we go. That is what has come in the post this week. One phone has come in the post. In other news. This week, remember the timer, the what's it timer, in the street lamp timer thing that I was having trouble with last week. Well, I've dismantled it, and I think I found out what the problem is with it. Remember, it was running one way up and not the other, and I'm going to rattle it about and make it work. And I think I found the problem is here in this balance wheel, because this balance wheel isn't very balanced. If you look, I don't know if you can see that or not, I can't really get it any closer. There's a humongous amount of slop in that balance wheel. But if I lift that balance wheel up, it kind of engages, and then there's no slop in it at all. So it kind of engages in, the axle kind of engages in a hole, a little tiny bearing, and there's no slop in it. But when it falls back down, when it's that way up, you see, it can then wobble about. If I lift it up again, and it's only a fraction of a millimetre, it engages again, and it's nice and fairly steady. But if it let it flop back down again, it can flop around, and because it can flop around, it catches on things and doesn't work properly. So I think that is the problem. So if I run it that way up, it ought to work alright, or it ought to at least move. So yeah, so I've taken all the bits out of it, and here they all are. And it turned out it was a nightmare of a thing to take the bits. I could not figure out the correct order to take it to bits in, so I actually kind of took it to bits in the wrong order. But I think I know the correct order now to put it back together in. But first, before I put it all back together, I'm going to clean all the components in clock cleaning fluid, which I've now got. It's arrived a couple of days ago because I'd run out. And then we'll put it all back together, but I want to do something about that. So if there's any clock maintainers out there, a balance wheel in a clock or in a watch, should it be able to move from side to side like that? I don't think it should. Now around the edge of this balance wheel, you'll see things around the edge that are tiny little screws. Can you see those things around the edge sticking out of that balance wheel? They are tiny little screws that you can screw in and out to alter the balance of it. Can you see them with the slotted head? And you can see here now, you see how the thing cocks? You see, I don't think it should do that, but if I lift the whole thing up like that, then you can't move it. It's solid, but when it falls back down that little bit again, it's all kind of loose, and I think that is the problem with it. You see, it's moving about like that. I think that's the problem. If anybody knows more about these than me, and it wouldn't take much to know more about these than me, get in touch either in the comments, or better still, drop us a line via the contact form on the website, andyshed.copress.net, and click on the thing that says contact us on it, and let me know, because I need to learn what I need to do with this, because at the moment, well, as you can see, it's in bits. There's the time switch bit of it. So it's all in bits at the moment, and we need to put it back together. So yeah, let us know what you think. I much prefer clocks with pendulums. These are always problematic. If you've got a clock that won't go, you take it apart, it's always this blooming balance wheel. And clocks with pendulums generally don't have them, because they've got a pendulum instead. and I reckon having a pendulum is much better. Okay, it has to be a bigger clock, but it's much better and then much easier to work on. Much easier. If you're going to restore an old clock, restore one with a pendulum, not one with a balance wheel. That's what I will say to you there. Yeah, so it looks like the bearing has got loose, as don't look adjustable. Maybe a broken jewel. It could be something like that. I'm not entirely sure. It'd have a jewel in it. Bear in mind it's out of a street light timer. But the interesting part about it is and I'm not really sure it shows up on the camera, that whole assembly is a different colour. It's a more gold colour rather than a brass colour. There, you can kind of see it there. It's a different colour. It's like that is gold plated, all this assembly. It doesn't look like brass the way this looks like brass, or these look like brass. It really does look gold. But I really don't know. So I need somebody who's got more skill than me. Really, to take this thing apart and have a look. I mean, it needs somebody with some very high powered magnifying equipment. I mean, I know I can do it with this camera, but it's not ideal. You certainly can't work on something like that. But yeah, there is a problem with it, most definitely. I mean, that's about as close as I can get on this camera, and you can actually see now there's something in the middle of that, isn't there? You see it wobbling now. Well, I don't think that wobble's right, do you? I don't think that wobble is right. Right, let's get the camera back in focus for what we're doing. There we go. Chris says, I just sent a photo with the N-Class logo with the H set. Right, let's have a look for these photos, Christopher. And we'll look for your other one as well while we're here. Where are we? There we are. Let's have a little look and see if they've arrived. Right, Christopher's old railway telephone that he's got. It says, hi Andy, this is an old UK railway telephone, Dalesford Railway. Dalesford Railway, an old UK telephone, and this is a right hodgepodge of bits, this, which I will show you when I can. Let me have a little look here. Yeah, so here it is. Here's the phone Christopher's found, and well, I'm not quite sure what to say about that. there's quite a lot missing and altered and messed with. I'm particularly liking the 700 series handset that is hanging off a candlestick type hook switch. Yes, that is budget to keep it working in the extreme, isn't it? That it really is. Yeah, and then this phone this train that Christopher is going to try and catch after the stream. Apparently this is, I don't know why these are coming out of service, because these look good. Yeah. Oh, here's the carriage. And there's the loco. So why are they coming out of service? They look alright to me. Cleaner than any British train you'll ever see, that is for certain. Yeah, send them over here, Christopher. We could do with some rolling stock that works, instead of all this attaching nonsense. If you're in the UK, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah. Bertie says, how much are the dialer tone devices, Dominic? Maybe get one in reserve for when needed. Dominic says they're about £50, I think, still on eBay. Or the other thing you could do, Bertie, is for £50 you could buy 5 PBXs and that do pulse to tone converting and do it that way. And Dominic has provided a link there to where you can get a dialer tone, apparently, if you would want one. Miguel says, it looks like the platform offer a carriage clock. Definitely a ruby jewel in there. Yeah, I saw something a bit red when I put it under the thing, Dom, under the thing there, Miguel. So do you think that ruby jewel is broken then, Miguel, in this? Do you think that's the problem, that the ruby jewel is broke or come adrift or something, and that's why it's flopping about? It sounds like that could well be the case, to me. Right, these pulsatone things are a bit cheaper direct. They're £45.80 direct, apparently. If you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about this from Vintage Telephony. A thing called a dialer tone, which is this. A dialer tone, pulsatone converter, all VoIP services, BT Digital Voice, Virgin, Sky, Vodafone, etc. £45.80, which is a lot for what it is. But there's all the info about it, and you can see there how it plugs in. Basically, so you don't have to convert your phone, you just plug the thing in, which is a good thing about it. I do like the fact that you don't have to go messing about inside the phone to use it. I do like that. But what you could do is you could just have one of those between your master socket and all your phones in your house, and run all the phones off one, as far as I'm aware. I can't see any reason why not to do that. So you do only need one, from what I can see there. So there you go, and you can get on from vintagetelephony.co.uk, of which we have no affiliation to, but it does seem like it's probably quite expensive, if you ask me. 45 quid. Now there is an open source project for a pulse to tone converter. If I can find it. Which you can find at Matt's Tech Pages. And right, let me get the right page up, and here it is. This is Matt's Tech Pages that we are looking at here, and it's the address is www.mattmillman.com /project/build your own pulse to tone converter. I will try and see if I can put it in the Odyssey chat. I might not be able to because I might not be logged in. No, I'm not. Hang on. Let me log in. How do I log into that chat? Like that, hang on. Right, are you seeing all this? No, you're still looking at the pulse to tone converter. Hang on then. Right, I've managed to log into the chat. So if I now paste that, right, I have now in the chat put the link to the open source pulse to tone converter that is there. If you see it somewhere down there at the minute. And that takes you to this page where it shows you these, and this is a project that a few people have been involved with over time, and this guy has kind of improved on it a bit, and that is what it actually is, because everybody else that makes these seems to pot them so you can't actually see what's involved, but that is what's involved. So it looks like it's very few components to me, and there's a schematic of it, and there's the thing installed in a phone. Now okay, you do have to install this inside the phone, but it can be made very cheaply, apparently. So this is the one that's made as part of an open source project. Then he altered the design a bit, so that's the original design, and then this guy altered the design. So you look at that one, and then you look at that one. That one is slightly different, and actually less components. When you look at that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's at least 16 items on that circuit board. And on that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on that circuit board. So, to use Elon Musk's favourite saying of the best part is no part, meaning keep it as simple as you can, that is definitely an upgrade, isn't it? Definitely an upgrade. So have a little look at this website anyway, because it shows you them installed in various phones in various ways, and what you have to do. I mean, you do need to be a bit tech savvy to do this, but I think probably once you've made one, I think it's probably going to be quite easy to make a load more. So yeah, see what you can do on that link that's gradually going up the screen there. Right, where are we now? I'm getting all a bit mixed up now, just a sec. Right, I'll get rid of that. Right, what are folks saying in the chat? Wesley says, I like the idea of leaving the phone as is though. Yeah, so do I, Wesley, actually. Where it says, I'd like to see it integrated onto a Pulse Decadic keypad. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Christopher says, the H sets are remade from the 1958 blue electric train in the 1980s. I just sent a photo showing the blue train. It says it's 6:50 AM in Australia, and then the stream started at 5:30. Cool. Right, let's have a look at the blue train then, because I'm intrigued now. Where are we? We'll find it, just a sec. Oh, the carriages look much more modern than that, but I guess they have been rebuilt, haven't they? But yeah, there is the blue train as sent by Christopher. You see what looked like really modern carriages, that's what it was rebuilt out of. But yeah, well, they've done a heck of a rebuild on that, because it made it look brand new to me. So yeah, like I say, if it ain't broke, don't mend it. Don't take it out of service if it's working. That's my my motto. That if it ain't broke, don't mend it. Right, what's happening? Yeah. Whereas it says the integrated pulsar tone converters rely on the dial switch operating, which isn't at all easy with a pulse keypad. Yes, no, it's not, is it? Because there isn't really a dial switch, is there? So yes, I think the easy way to do it with a pulse keypad will be to fit a tone keypad and just take two of the buttons off. If it all fit in the same holes to the phone case, I think that would be the easy way to do it. Just take the star and the hash key off. But I don't know. I don't worry about it terribly because, like I say, I don't use a pulse to tone converter. The BT revelation that everything runs through to the outside world here, that does the pulse to tone conversion for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Everything internally is pulse and will be remaining pulse on copper wires. Crikey, can you remember when telephones used to work on copper wires? I did actually have a long conversation with somebody at PlusNet today, at PlusNet support, the people who managed to cancel my broadband at the radio studio last week accidentally. They actually managed to accidentally cut off my broadband, so now I've got to be signed up as a new customer. They were very apologetic about it after the event. But you can imagine what I said at the time, can't you? I've had a long conversation with them today about switching everybody to VoIP telephones, and the requirement from Ofcom that if you've not got a mobile phone, they have to give you a 1 hour battery backup capability. And the way PlusNet are getting around that is by not offering any form of telephone service anymore. So PlusNet, if you're with PlusNet and you've got a telephone service with PlusNet at the minute on your line, your telephone service will be finishing because PlusNet will only be doing broadband only lines, and they will not be offering a telephone service with it. You'll have to get your telephone from a third party like Von Arch, or maybe a third party network like CNET, like the server what is sat on this windowsill up here that you can't quite see. Yeah. Yeah, we'll tell you more about CNET again at some point in the future. But if anybody does want to join up to CNET, I know 1 or 2 people on here are already on it. Christopher asked earlier if we'd be able to call in tonight. Hopefully you will be able to next week, Christopher. If you're around next week, we'll get it all plugged together, because I have to plug it up into my computer as well to get the sound out so other people can hear you. They wouldn't be able to hear you at the minute. Sorry, the clock that I'm mending, there's a clock up there, and of course it's decided it's 8 o'clock and it's chiming. It's actually not 8 o'clock, it's running about 5 minutes fast. It's about 7:55. But yeah, we'll plug all the CNET stuff in, so we can get you over the live stream next week, if that's alright. Because I have to sort of run all the software on my computer and that to do it. So yeah, we'll have a go at that next week and stuff. But for now, if anybody knows anything about this thing I've got here, then get in touch with us, andyshed.coldpress.net, and click on the contact us thing, because I would like to find somebody who can do something about that. There is a clock repair guy near me, but I don't know if he does things this small. But yeah, and yet it says there's a ruby in this, and I think he might be right, because if I hold it up as close as I can you see something red in the centre of there? Yeah, and I think this has gone right through it. I think that thing is broken and this has gone right through it. So we need somebody who's got the equipment to to be able to see this up close and personal like this and take it apart and repair it. So you need a mega microscope thing really to do that. So good luck to anybody who's got one of those. I certainly haven't, and even if I had, my hands probably aren't steady enough to do that anyway, so yeah, it would take a bit of doing, that would. So yeah, there we go. But hopefully we'll get it repaired. We now know what's wrong with it, so hopefully we'll be able to do something about it. Wesley says, CNET can't connect to the external network though, he says, or am I wrong there? It shouldn't be able to connect to the external network, but you can make it so it can. How do I explain it? You can make it so it can by wiring up a PBX to it. So you have a CNET extension. So you have your router connected to an ATA that then has a line cord coming out of it that normally goes to a telephone. If you connect that line out of your ATA, instead of connecting it to a telephone, connect it to an extension input on your PBX, then you can, anybody who calls you on CNET will then be able to dial a 9 or whatever to get an outside line on your PBX, and if your PBX has got an incoming line connected to it from the outside world by BT or whoever, they will then be able to dial out through your PBX. So it is possible to do it. It's frowned upon because it means you're dialing out. Yeah, the GPO don't like it, but I don't really see how they can stop you doing it, to be honest. Or BT, as they call themselves these days, don't like it, but I don't really see how they can stop you doing it. But it does mean that whoever's PBX is being used gets the bill for all the phone calls. Now if it's your PBX, it's fine. So what you can do is, if you have got an unlimited call plan on your landline phone at home, you can use an app called Zoiper, which you've got connected up to CNET, to ring your CNET ATA at home, that then goes through your PBX and then out through your landline. So from your mobile phone anywhere in the world, via the internet, you can make a landline call from your own house that to the outside world appears to be coming from your own house. So to the world in general, it would look like a call is coming from here, but it could actually be Christopher calling in from Australia via PBX if I had it set up that way here. And I believe that is how some of these dodgy call centres do it. When you get a call from a number that's in, like, say, Liverpool, and when they answer, it's obviously somebody who's in Mumbai, not Liverpool, and you think, well, how the heck are they doing that? And it is something like that. And these dodgy call centres are always looking for VoIP networks that have got a way in to the normal what they call POTS, the plain old telephone system, plain old telephone service, and the server on my windowsill here gets hit by bots many times every minute that are searching for a number to dial through the server to get them out onto the POTS network. Yeah, you'll be amazed at the amount of kind of attacks it gets. It's a bit like a DDoS attack, but it's not a DDoS attack, but it has a similar effect if you get enough of these things. So yes, yeah, you do have to be kind of aware that that is going on, but I've not explained that very well, but the answer is yes, you can connect CNET up, should you wish to the POTS network. What there are, and I can't remember the numbers offhand, there are a number of people who do it the other way, where you call in from an ordinary telephone and you ring them from an ordinary POTS line, and you can dial into CNET because the CNET bit is free. So if it's somebody who lives in the same country as you that you're dialing in via, your phone call will be relatively cheap, if not free, and then you can get into CNET without being set up on CNET. There are numbers to do that. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head. If you want any more information about CNET, go to the website ckts.info. That's ckts.info, and that will tell you more about CNET. Okay. Right. Okie dokie. Wesley says you need a pair of glasses like Steve Fletcher to deal with that clock. Yeah, I need about 3 pairs of glasses like Steve Fletcher. Because he has about 2 or 3 pairs on the top of his head, doesn't he? He's very good, Steve Fletcher. The only thing I don't like is when Steve Fletcher gets an electric clock and he puts a modern quartz mechanism in a mains electric clock, because he says mains electric clocks are dangerous, and he puts a modern quartz mechanism in them. I've got a mains electric clock here. I've got a Smith's mains electric clock. It's in the kitchen where there's lots of water floating about. Yes, it's got a single insulated unearthed cable on it. It's not killed me yet. And bear in mind that electric clock has been in existence for 50 or 60 or maybe even 70 years. And you know, and it's still going strong. And I don't know that it's murdered anybody yet. So they're not that dangerous, obviously. Adonis, I'm going to head off now, but have a great week, everyone. I might not be able to make it next week's stream, so might see everyone in 2 weeks. Okie dokie, Dominic. Have a good couple of weeks wherever you're going, whatever you're doing. Wesley says, how is it paid for? How's what paid for, Wesley? CNET. CNET isn't paid for. CNET is run entirely by volunteers, basically. There is no charge for CNET. Wesley says, it's not that easy, he doesn't think. He says, I think you need guarded clear line for that sort of thing, with the likes of revelations and inspirations. You can try it, but I think you might find using an ATA that the PABX won't release the line when you clear down. Interesting. I will try it, Wesley. When I get a minute, I'll try it. I was just told you could do that. I've not actually tried it myself, but I will try it because I see what you're getting at there. So I will give it a go. Where to say, it sounds onerous. I'm glad I've got unlimited minutes for not much money. Well, what we need to do is get everybody in the world onto CNET and then tell all the phone companies to go and do one, don't we? And that's what we actually need to do. Well, it says I was referring, when you were saying about how is it paid for, I was referring to whatever gateway is used to connect to the outside world. Well, the person whose gateway is connecting to the outside world gets all the calls that are going through it on their phone bill. So if I set it up here and did that connection what I've just said, if it does work, then anybody who calls via CNET to the outside world, I would have to pick up the phone bill for it, which is why nobody does it, basically, or at least nobody publicises that they do it, because they don't want phone calls from all and sundry. So yeah, that's why it's a bit dodgy. So yeah, you people would run up a big phone bill for you, quite possibly, if it was connected that way. But it is possible to do. But I'm not advising you to do it for that reason. But yeah. Yes. Christian says, back to the trains, the Blue Electric stop in Melbourne because the Blue train had asbestos, but not sure if the H sets have asbestos still. I would guess the asbestos was probably removed, Christopher. They did it with a lot of diesel multiple units over here, sort of in the 80s. They found they realised there was asbestos in them, and a lot were sent away for specialist asbestos removal, and then came back into service again as refurbished units. And some in preservation, some had the asbestos removed and were put back into service refurbished. Some unrefurbished stock, they just left the asbestos in, because the best thing to do with asbestos is just not disturb it. So I think it was used as insulation, sound deadening behind panels and stuff. So provided they didn't disturb it, it was pretty much okay. But when a lot of the DMUs and that in this country were sold into preservation, a lot then did, as part of the deal for them to be allowed to go into preservation, did have to pay to have the asbestos removed from them before they would be released for preservation. So yeah, asbestos removal is not, it's not difficult, but it's not cheap either, because you have to do it wearing special suits, and you basically put your train in a plastic bag or something so the spores don't go everywhere and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the best thing to do with asbestos really is leave it alone. Just don't disturb it. It's totally fine if you don't disturb it. It's only if you disturb it and move it around and make it shed the spores that and they get into your lungs, that's where it becomes a problem. Of course, on a rattly train it kind of is being disturbed quite a lot of the time, so yeah. Wesley says, this thing with CNET and that would make a good episode. He says, it's a long time since I've tried it. Yeah, well, I'll have to have a go. I'll have to do some experimentation, Wesley, and and see if it works. But yes, what would I have to do? I would have to do some hard wiring of things, so it's not something that I can just alter a few plugs around and do it. I would have to do some hard wiring of things to make it work. But yeah, we'll certainly give it a go at some point. That remind me if I forget, and we will give it a go at some point. That. Right, I think probably that is about as far as we go for today. we've run the gamut of things today, from Australian trains to streetlight timers to wrongly converted early 1980s telephones, to all sorts of stuff really, and we haven't even touched on anything like Doctor Who's 60th anniversary and the funniest line in television history, when David Tennant's Doctor Who the other day on Children in Need came out with the line, "I was this brilliant woman." Yeah, it was funny because it was so untrue. No, Doctor, you were the most terrible woman in the form of Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker, the woman who does for acting what the Magic Roundabout does for realistic scenery. Yeah, right. Yes, I've been neurotic on this. Another excellent channel if you want to go and watch it. Right, that is about it for now for this week. Thanks to everybody for taking part once again. Wesley says, knock knock. Who's there? Is it going to be a knock knock joke? Maybe it's not. I don't know, I'm kind of waiting now for that, but no, maybe not. Or maybe there's a delay because this is going through Restream. I've got to say a big thanks to Restream, by the way. It's working really, really well. Wesley, Doctor Who. Oh no. Yeah, all right, Wesley. Yeah. Right. I'm going now. If I had a Dalek, Wesley, I'd send it over. I've got the plans for one, but that's another story. Right, we will be on our way now. For now, we will see. He's waving. We will see you all here around about the same time-ish, possibly the same place next week. Possibly not the same place. I'm not entirely sure yet. Yeah, we might be somewhere slightly different next week. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, we will be back here very, very soon. Remember, if you're not sure where to watch us these days, what platform we're on or what platform we're not on, the best way to watch us is just go to the website and there will be an embedded stream in our website. The website is here. It's andyshed.coldpress.net, and then on the end of that put /live, L-I-V-E. That will take you to a page on the website where you should be able to see the stream, and there will be a link to the chat as well on there, to something called the pop-out chat, which you should be able to open on pretty much any device. Right. I'm just looking at the end of the chat now. Christopher says he's going now to Spencer Street Station for his train, so if anybody else is watching in Australia, you might see Christopher at Spencer Street Station in a few minutes time. Wesley says, don't throw stones at the insulators, Christopher. No, probably best not to. Right, that is it from us for now. Have a fantastic week ahead, everybody, and we will see you next time. But from me, for now, ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.